Right, welcome back. Last time there was yet another war that the Ottomans started, which basically ended with Camarino, well, paying a bunch of cash, and Padua becoming a tributary to the Ottoman Empire. Yeah. Currently I'm waiting for some aggressive expansion to cool down, which is mostly the case, so long as I don't look at Bohemia, but what do I care about Bohemia? They don't like me anyway. Although a closer look at stuff like Saxony would probably be smart. Possibly Hesse. Nah, never mind. Yeah, but yeah, a potential focus on Bentheim is fine. Oh, and apparently China has decided to declare war on France this time. I'm not entirely sure why, they just did. Oh, and Diviet, after being, oh, that's why. I went ahead and grabbed this province from Diviet. And, well, Great Shu wants it. Yeah, a previous China, Great Ming, went ahead and grabbed northern Vietnam. So Diviet, in an effort to do something else, went over here. Yeah. It's pretty bad for them. I'm also dealing with massive amounts of corruption, but I've gone ahead and gotten all of the reforms necessary. And went for, well, means of recruitment 3 last session, so that's dealt with. So I've got all the requirements except for possibly the ruler. Executive authority is 334, which is honestly terrible. But that should be most of what I need specifically to get meritocracy. Of course, I also have to admit that this stuff hasn't updated in a while. It still shows civil examinations 1 and means of recruitment 1. So hopefully something isn't broken. And it will start to slowly get invented in my capital province. Hopefully. Doesn't seem to be happening anytime soon, but there is the positive of it spreading through trade, though this will take another 15 years before it even gets to any of my provinces. It has to spread from there, which will make it much more difficult to work it compared to something else. Oh well. I just gotta deal with corruption. Hope I don't get into bankruptcy anytime soon. If I do, I could probably beat up one of my neighbors for a bunch of cash. Yeah, shouldn't be that much of a problem. Again? Right. Time to grab the next set of National Anthem, new idea group, 3-deckers, ship durability plus 5%, global naval engagement with plus 5%, naval morale plus 0.25, enables the 3-decker. War games, army move speed, plus 10%, military tactics plus 0.5, land morale plus 0.3, combat width plus 2, artillery fire plus 0.5. Lots of buffs. Let's enjoy them. You're gonna go a bit further than I originally planned because stuff moved around since I last checked. I mean, that's not surprising, but still. Definitely not a military idea group. But we have so many points there, so I'll probably just go industrial ideas. It's really good. Let me just go through everything. Ah, I'm almost out of admin points. Well, it's a good thing I'm focusing on them. Okay, let's just move things around so I can read everything all at once. Ooh! Unlocks the police force. Better stability. Okay. What kind is it? Ah, okay. Well, I don't need centralized estate anymore. My centralization is pretty much maxed out for the time being. I've got 3 fee policies anyway, so blah. Right. Let's handle all these. Winds of change, seeds blown across the wind, visions of change and turmoil, of lives upended and terrible evil only destroyed at great cost. But also of sickness nearly banished, of the world united like never before, and of those called poor living as kings. Change is coming. Let us hope we are not the status quo. Yearly peasant freedom +1, global institution spread +33%. Urbanization, from day-long labors to day-long shifts. Cruelties of the past forgotten, replaced by those of the present. Peasant labor supply +20%, which means peasant labor, well, each unit of peasant population provides 20% more labor, and reduced amenities, well, amenities cost -15%, and urban production efficiency +2.5%. Innocence lost. There's no remaining behind. Change comes for even the most isolated, and like water against stone, even the most resilient traditions shall be worn away. Elite diversions concern +50%, yearly clan power -0.5, stability increase interval -10%. That's what's really notable. Entrepreneurs. In spirit, like the explorers of yesteryear, seeking new paths to prosperity and risking much for the chance of greater fortune. However incidental to their motivations, they pave the way for a better life. Base consultation +1, embargo efficiency +50%. Economies of scale. The benefits of fully utilizing the things you pay for are not to be understated. Cities are an expression of these benefits, the largest a marvel of efficiency over sparse cottages and distant amenities. Urban output +10%. This is for all industrial knowledge, possibly also commerce. Urban production efficiency +5%. That output, though, is a direct modifier to output. It does not increase the input goods need, unlike production efficiency. So that's even better than it sounds. Merchants of Death. The ugly face of prosperity, the might it permits. An ever-escalating race of arms to end in peace everlasting or the doom of us all. Military goods production +10%, whether armaments or naval. Infantry and artillery combat ability +10%, ship durability +10%. Brave New World. It is the most alien of worlds, the one of our own making. One of culture ever-changing, of children strangers to their parents, and of fates uncertain. Peculiar and terrifying and beautiful at once. It is into this world we step, never to return. Base diversions +1, pathing infrastructure -10%. Movement costs, movement speed, +10%. With these buffs to movement speed, we can certainly have our armies travel much faster. Which possibly could be the edge we need in certain wars. I mean, sure, rarely that's the case, but still, something to be thought over. Of course, I'm going to have to eventually pick a diplomacy group. None of these are particularly useful. Oh well, I'll figure something out. My treasury might look a bit larger, and that's mainly because of a combination of the fact that my tax income has actually basically evened out. Yeah, provincial corruption is dropping like a rock thanks to measures to reduce it. The recalled officials one? Yeah. That really brings it down, which helps a lot. There's some political stuff I have to go through, though. Well, there we go. That's it. Not really. There's still some land reform and grain doles. which I can probably start affording again. I've dropped for a couple of years in order to make up some money. Of course, this has the side effect of causing rebels to rise very rapidly in power. But that should help somewhat. I have been burning heart treatment a couple times because my arm's just too far away to get back in time. Because yet another war from the Ottoman Empire. Woo. Yeah. France was fighting a war with Great Shu. I'm not entirely sure what happened. Could have been a white peace. Because they keep declaring imperialist wars, but in order to get the ticking war score, you have to siege down the capital. And while the Great Shu has a massive navy and a massive military, they don't seem too partial to actually sending ships anywhere. Beyond maybe the Philippines or Indonesia. So yeah. Also went ahead and teched up a level, got industrial ideas, so we are going to be chugging ahead very, very quickly on a lot of things. Literally armament and, well, military and naval goods production have increased by 20%, and that's just output. I'm not even counting production efficiency, which I think boosted by 7.5%, but I need to double check. There's a 5% upgrade here. Oh, I forgot about something I forgot to say. Finisher bonus is artillery fire +1. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, the total boost from this on urban production efficiency is 7.5%. Plus, there's now far more peasant labor available, although population remains the same. Which means labor costs will go down in general, but it also means that I can... Well, I need a smaller rural population to leverage the same amount of agricultural production. So, that means that there needs to be less peasants around. So they can move into the cities, or produce even more rural goods. Like there's beer production here. Seriously? It's a special delicacy that can only be produced in certain provinces. Wow, okay. Does it really provide delicacies? Yes. What I'm wondering is if it's enough to fulfill the needs of the province. Yes! Barely. Honestly, the province does seem to produce everything it needs outside of luxury goods, naval goods, military goods, exotics, and salt. And most of those because it doesn't produce any of them in the first place. Exotics can't be produced by Europeans, at least not in Europe. Europeans produce small quantities of delicacies for most food productions. Non-Europeans do exotics. Well, other than crops. For example, the fishery here produces delicacies. If I were to look at a province over, say, here, that probably has fisheries. It does not have fisheries, but the nomadic pastures does produce exotics. Come on, there's gotta be a fishery around here somewhere. Hello? Fishery? There we go, there's some fisheries here. Yep, produces exotics. It's a bit strange, but it works, apparently. In fact, my income has actually been improving because I've been specifically sieging down high-value provinces and using... I mean, it's not much loot money, but it's enough to keep me afloat. Go to the war loot. Where is it? Yeah, I've earned 257 ducats just from sieging down these provinces. I've been specifically picking high-value targets. High-dev targets. And credit is due. They've been a lot more resilient this time compared to the previous war. That might have to do with the fact that the Ottomans have been able to send more troops their way. It may not be that the war they're dealing with it better, it might just be that we're sieging everything down far more quickly, especially since we don't have to deal with the Mamluks at the moment. They're busy fighting Ajuran, I think. Yep, Ajuran. So I'm not entirely certain why. That's an unrelated war. Spain. Yeah, I might have to do that. Nothing else much to say beyond that. Meritocracy still isn't being independently invented because of reasons. Oh, global trade's also starting to spread too. A bit more quickly, but still rather slowly. Oh well, once it finally arrives, the last institution will be the only one left. Industrialization. Adventech 40. 56, okay. 20 more years, 20 more years, and then it's ready. After year 1750, yeah. It needs commercialization, scientific method. Well, the map of commercialization is kind of obvious. And you need commercialization for scientific method, which is present in practically all of my provinces anyways, yeah. It's not really an issue. I mean, probably in Iceland, but it's Iceland. The province doesn't get any institutions. Well, other than legalism. That's a big Canada. Yeah, I think England might actually be the winners of colonization this game. Possibly France? Well, definitely the England in North America and the French in South America. Spain tried, but it doesn't seem like they managed to use their advantage very well. Ooh. New unit types are coming up. Oh well. Yeah, clergy loyalty is still ridiculously low, so I'm going to need to spend some extra time focusing on them before I decide to go ahead and turn them into regular taxpayers, because I am going to do that. There is no way around it. And then I should also work on some final reforms, because there's still plenty of things I could do. Like, go to universal law, do some more province reform, not institute literacy tests, because I don't need that. That's even more power to the elites. I'd rather they be weaker rather than stronger, even if it improves my own admin efficiency. Stuff like depoliticizing the civil service would be nice. Even more provincial oversight in order to further reduce provincial corruption. Like, the top 5 on the list all reduce corruption one way or another. Sure, most of them also increase costs. This is the one exception. But all of these would be very, very nice to have. To reduce the amount of provincial corruption that the elites generate, well, that the laws generate, and so reduce the negative impact that state reach has. Yeah. That's probably long enough for me. Definitely. And meritocracy helps solve things even further by further reducing state corruption. And reducing cat costs too. It's not really that important because it's not necessary, but it's good to have, and it was, well, yeah. Right, I'll see you again next time. Until then.